Hello and welcome back to Pics and Portraits. Now I'm sure everyone is terrified at the uncertainty of this strange new world we find ourselves in. We're being told to avoid each other, to stay home if we can afford to. If not, well, that's the future we've been given. It's pretty terrible, and certainly not like the one predicted in better times. Retrofuturism is a huge part of this channel, and given what we are currently going through, we are heading back to that well, once again, by further exploring its relationship with animation. This is a follow-up to our Cartoons of the Future video, and while that focused on animation's portrayal of the future as a whole, this one is going to focus on the output or vision of one animator, Tex Avery. Now, Avery is one of my favorite Golden Age animators, and throughout the 1940s and 50s, he produced a series of shorts depicting life in the future. We'll be looking at those in just a bit, but first I wanted to give a little background on the artist. Fred Avery, affectionately known as Tex, got his start inking the post-Disney Oswald shorts for Margaret J. Winkler. There is more on the rights history of that in episode 2 of Animation Propaganda, but eventually, Avery worked his way up to the position of animator at Universal, where he continued producing Oswald till 1935. That same year, he conned his way into a job as director at Warner Brothers, byline to producer Leon Schlesinger. He falsely claimed to have previous experience. Lucky for us, Schlesinger believed him, and there, along with Chuck Jones, Friz Freleng, and Bob Clampett, Avery would help define not only Warner cartoons, but the medium as a whole. From their studio, the fabled Termite Terrace, they produced short after iconic short, introducing the world to characters that have stood the test of time. Avery personally contributed the popular, softer version of Porky Pig, Daffy Duck, and directed the first official appearance of Bugs Bunny, as well as coined his catchphrase, "What's up, Doc?" In 1941, he jumped ship to MGM following an argument with a producer over the inclusion of a risque joke in one of his shorts. Here he produced the propaganda piece Blitzwolf, which we talk about over on Patreon, and created the character Droopy. His most enduring, post-Warner character, Droopy was a hypercom dog who overcame any challenge that was presented to him. Truly an example to follow in these dark days. Beyond his primary gimmick as psych eggs, more than anyone else, Avery also infused cartoons with horniness, with the introduction of Red, a sexualized version of Little Red Riding Hood. What a legacy. While at MGM, Avery also produced a series of shorts around the theme of tomorrow, focusing on what life in the future may look like. These don't follow any sort of narrative, instead presenting a series of gags or short vignettes from the year 2050. The first came in 1949 with The House of Tomorrow. In it, the homes of the future are presented as compact, convenient, and ever-changing. This is actually used as part of a tax evasion scheme. The appliances of this future are in line with most retrofuturistic depictions. Things are automated and personalized. There's actually a device that lets you ignore your child. It even abuses them for you. Every member of the family can experience this house in their own way. This introduces us to a running gag in the series, mother-in-law jokes, with the punchline being, usually, that she needs to die. I feel like Tex had some underlying issue, or was working through some shit here, as they are borderline excessive. He also manages to work in his trademark horniness, with the father's personalized television consisting of a shot of a live-action woman who kind of looks uncomfortable. The House of Tomorrow was followed up with 1951's Car of Tomorrow. Self-explanatory, we see the absurd places the automobile may go. Many are just psych eggs based on automotive puns, fishtail, headroom, but more than any of the others, this short really shows its age. Its portrayal of cars from other cultures is insensitive to say the least, and it also perpetuates the notion that women are poor drivers. Television was still a novel and new invention in the mid-1950s. As such, it was the subject of the third short, TV of Tomorrow. This expands upon the depiction in House of Tomorrow and addresses the issues with modern sets like eye strain and poor picture quality. It predicts, correctly in my opinion, the home of tomorrow will be built around the television. Future models are seen coming with built-in repair person, or a bookie, as well as an add-on that gets rid of poor programming. The attitude taken towards TV here is pretty negative. It's shown as repetitive, inferior, and generally a nuisance, perhaps because at the time it was rendering theatrical shorts obsolete. However, the ingenuity and techniques used are extremely impressive, namely its blending of live action and animation. It creates an awesome effect, and I'd have to say this is definitely my favorite. And finally, we have The Farm of Tomorrow from 1954. In my opinion, this is the weakest of the four shorts. It encourages eugenics, I guess, amongst animals, crossbreeding chickens with various other species to yield more meat. The same format is applied to other situations in animals, like housing kangaroos, somehow making the milking process easier. Some of these are entertaining, but I found there to be more misses than hits. Still, I think these shorts are great. They are technically impressive. I love the use of live action, and the animation is gorgeous, but they are definitely not without fault. These are plagued by the norms of their time, obviously misogyny. Women appear either as pleasure objects, servants, or hindrances. Also, racism. looking at the cars of the future from different countries, but their vision of the future is one of comfort, and it's not likely we're going to get anything like this anytime soon. At the moment, things are bleak, but it's important to remember that these shorts were produced in the aftermath of the Second World War. Seeing the death toll rising and mass mobilization and nations locking down on account of COVID-19, it's hard not to equate now with that period. There is no guaranteed path forward. This is a global crisis. Life is seemingly forever changing. We all feel it, and during that war, they felt it too. But we know there was a brighter tomorrow. This video was intended for next month, but I jumped it ahead given the circumstances. I have other videos recorded that will be coming out more regularly, as I have been advised to self-isolate. I'm sure many of you are in the same situation. I want to say it's okay to be worried or scared. These are uncertain times, but I will continue producing content. Hopefully, if you find value in it, I can provide you some relief or comfort or entertainment while we face this thing together. If you can spare it, you can support us financially over on Patreon, patreon.com/picsandportraits, but absolutely take care of your family and yourself first. And hey, maybe call a friend. Social distancing does not have to keep us apart with the technology we have today. I guess that's one of the pluses of this future, so we will leave it on that positive note. As always, thank you so much for your interest in this channel, and thank you so much for watching.